O cinema, O cinema, wherefore art thou cinema? Cinema Paradiso, released in 1988, and is directed by Giuseppe Torratore, who is also behind such films like The Professor, Everybody's Fine, Milena, The Unknown Woman, and The Correspondence. And this film is starring Felipe Nore, Agnes Nano, Brigitte Fossi, Antonella Attil, and Salvatore Casillo, Marco Lenardi, and Jacques Perrin, all playing three different versions of Salvatore De Vita. And the reason why we're talking about Cinema Paradiso today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and a donation from one of my biggest contributors on this channel, Autumn Blood, who gives me the best recommendations I can think of, or at least I guess I would say the most obscure recommendations, because I haven't liked every single one that she's given me, but this one is definitely one of the ones that I just freaking love. This was a beautiful story. If any of you out there want to be like Autumn Blood and help donate to this channel and help support me, you can make a PayPal donation by clicking on the donate button on the main page of my YouTube channel. Any size donation will do, and if you have a movie that you really want me to review and give you a shout out on the channel for, you can attach your movie with your donation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, and publish my review of it as quickly as I possibly can for you. Famous film director Salvatore De Vita has received a phone call from his mother telling him that an old family friend of his, Alfredo, has passed away, and she requests his presence for the funeral. And after the news, Salvatore starts reminiscing about his entire life and his friendship with Alfredo in the cinema house. That's as simplest as it gets. I mean, this film is really just, it's very naturalistic in style, where it feels like it's a slice of life into this character, Salvatore De Vita. It's in his entire life leading up to the funeral of Alfredo. Of course, there is a beautiful love story in here when he's in his teenage years. He meets this girl at school and thinks she's the most beautiful thing on the planet. He waits outside of her door every single night. They get together, but then they get separated because parents don't want them to be together. It's very Romeo and Juliet. I start getting watery-eyed and teary-eyed because this movie is just frickin' beautiful. This film won Best Foreign Film at the 62nd Academy Awards. Yeah, there's nothing else that should have won. I think it should have won Best Picture overall that year. This was a frickin' beautiful story. It's one of the best examples when it comes to art, when it comes to theater, when it comes to film, of giving you the example of theater, film, art, is a mirror to society. It is a mirror to life, and it's not one thing set in stone. It evolves. It changes over time. It changes with the person that it's affecting. It changes with what's happening in the culture, what's happening in the town that it's happening in. Art is ever evolving, and this is one of the best examples of that. And this character of Salvatore is so universal, so relatable. I remember having crushes on girls in high school that I had longed for, and then my early days in undergrad and college had longed for, or at least planned on maybe waiting for them. And then, of course, that never happens. I relate to this character. Thankfully, though, unlike Salvatore here, I did end up meeting my best friend and actually married her in undergrad. So, you know, worked out for me. Salvatore, you got a movie. I always get nervous when we have these big, long, epic films and we have multiple actors playing the same character over a period of time. I always get nervous because I always feel like I prefer one of them more than the other, and that's not the case here. I really like all three of these actors in their portrayal of this character of Salvatore. The kid actor is just frickin' adorable. Like, I want to pick him up and squeeze him and hug him and just pinch his cheeks. Frickin' adorable. And the ADR that they dub over him is even more so adorable. And then his teenage self, he still has this boyish, babyish baby face. His cheeks are still kind of puffy. He's a little sunken in here. He just, again, you just want to squeeze his cheeks because he looks very adorable, even though he's getting into his handsome years. And then adult Salvatore is, I wouldn't say adorable, but you can just tell that life has kind of weighed him down, even though he's living this life of grandeur. You look at him and you can tell that there is just sadness behind those eyes. And that's very difficult for an actor to showcase. just something behind the eyes that shows that he has some type of hidden depression, some type of mental health issue that he is dealing with. I feel like I had always heard about this film before, or that I've seen posters for this. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think my drama teacher in high school had a poster of this up in the classroom. Maybe. And I just never knew what it was because, like my arrogant American ass back then, and I'm trying to break it now, but back then you wouldn't caught me dead watching an Italian film or any film with subtitles on it. No. This is an Italian picture, so if you don't speak the language, if you don't speak Italian, you'll get over reading the subtitles. Trust me. It takes like 5 minutes, you adapt to it, so if you're my student, you're watching this review, get over it and watch this film. Because it's an epic love story. It's like Romeo and Juliet, but in the 1900s, and with cinema, and with film. Except these characters are not frickin' stupid, and kill themselves. But there is the whole young love, teenage love, oh, let's run off together, and our parents don't want us to be together, but I want to be together, because maybe I'm poor, and I can't give you the best things in life, but damn it, I love you. That's all here, but just not with iambic pentameter and poetry. It's actually just spoken. But I'm always a sucker for films that romanticize the idea about the cinema and going to the movie theater and how pure that is, right? How when everyone goes, everyone is just involved in this communal experience and response where everyone is laughing at the same thing and we're all having a great time. It's nice to romanticize in your head, but when I go to the movie theater, which has not been in over a year and a half, just because with the whole safety things and this whole pandemic thing. But when I go to the movie theater, when I went to the movie theater, it was everyone shut the hell up, don't chew too loudly, shut your kids up, and let's all watch the fucking movie. So if I was a character in this town watching the film with all of these people, I would be pissed off. All of that aside, though, that atmosphere does play into the romanticizing about the cinema and going to the movies and how it changes over time and the movies change over time. And I love how, like, the priest has to approve the film that's being shown, so he'll go and get a private screening, and if there's anything at all, any kissing, any like shoulder being revealed of a woman, they cut it out, and it all comes back to play in the end, which is, God, thinking about that scene, it actually gets me teary-eyed, because that was freaking beautiful. You can try to cut out love and relationships all you want, but when you do that, you're really lessening the life that you could have lived. And when you put it all together, it's a little bit of a waterfall or an avalanche of emotion that comes crushing down on you. This movie is a work of art. There are movies that I love. There are movies that I think are just fantastic. There are the movies that I put in like my top 10. But I feel like the concept of, wow, watching this movie is like watching art is very few and in between for me. This movie is one of those movies. This is a long film. I believe I watched the extended version. It's almost 3 hours long. This is an epic journey, an epic love story of Salvatore and his love for Elena and trying to be with her, and also kind of being pulled between several different people that he's in love with Elena, love for Alfredo, love for his mother, love for the cinema and being in the cinema and running projections. It's just an epic tale, and it's a slice of life look into how art affects and changes a life and how it changes over time. This is beautiful. This is wonderful, and I absolutely recommend this. I'm going to give Cinema Paradiso 5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I think I see blue. He looks glorious.
Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part of my videos where I randomly select which movie I'm going to be watching next from the collection of movies that I have, so let's take a look. Atomic Blonde! Charlize Theron is blonde, and I think she has guns. I don't know, again, one of these movies that I purchased and it sits on the shelf and I've never watched before. And I remember hearing mixed things about this movie. Some people think it was just badass and awesome. Other people think it was fine. It wasn't terrible, but it was nothing special either, so Probably why it didn't do that well in the box office. But we'll check out Atomic Blonde next time. So guys, if you've seen Cinema Paradiso, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you'll know the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of Atomic Blonde. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.